What if I told you there is a stranger living inside your future right now? They're older than you, their knees hurt, they're tired in a way coffee can't fix. And right now, today, you are quietly robbing them blind. That stranger is you in 40 years. And here's the messed up part. Your own brain doesn't believe they're real. Basically, scientists hooked people up to brain scanners, showed them a photo of their future self, and the brain lit up the exact same way it lights up when you look at a total stranger. A random person. Someone you'd let pay for their own lunch. So no wonder you won't invest a dime for that guy. You don't even think he's you. But that's only reason number one. Because by the end of this video, you're going to know the exact reason, the real, embarrassing, hiding in plain sight reason, that most people will never invest a single dollar in their entire lives. And the worst part, most of them think they have a good excuse. Spoiler, they don't. Let's get into it. Reason number one, your brain thinks future you is a stranger. Okay, real talk. The number one reason people refuse to invest has nothing to do with money. It's a brain glitch. Here's how it works. Your brain is a survival machine built about 100,000 years ago, back when the future meant later today if a lion doesn't eat me. It was never designed to care about a version of you that exists in the year 2065. To your caveman brain, that person is fiction, a character. Future you might as well be a guy named Gary who lives 3 states over, and nobody wants to hand their hard-earned money to Gary. So when you get paid and you've got the choice between treat myself right now and send this money 40 years into the future to a stranger, your brain picks now every single time. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broke, because biologically, future you feels fake. You're not choosing between smart and dumb. You're choosing between a real person you can feel, present you, who wants the burrito, and a ghost. Here's the example that'll mess you up. Imagine I offered you $100 right now, or $120 if you wait a month. Tons of people grab the 100 today. Same people, completely logical, will turn down free money because a month feels like forever. That's not a math problem. That's your brain treating future you like Gary. Now flip it. Investing is literally the one tool on earth that lets you take care of that stranger before they show up. It's a time machine for money. You put in a little now, and your future self opens the door decades later to a pile of cash they didn't have to earn. You're basically Batman leaving supplies for a version of yourself you'll meet later. But you can't use the time machine if your brain refuses to admit the passenger exists. So here's the fix, and it's stupidly simple. You have to introduce yourself to Gary. Picture him. Name him. What does 65-year-old you actually want? To be free, to not panic when the car breaks down, to tell a boss, no thanks, and mean it? The second future you stops being a stranger and starts being you. Investing stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like a favor you're doing for someone you love. And that someone is the only person who's guaranteed to still be around in your life in 40 years. But let's say you do care about future you. Let's say you've met Gary, you shook his hand, you want to help him out. There's still a wall most people slam into. And it's the single most expensive lie in personal finance. 4 little words that have kept more people poor than any recession ever could. Reason number 2. You're waiting until you have enough. Tell me if this sounds familiar. I'll start investing when I have more money. That's exactly it. That's the lie. And it sounds so responsible, doesn't it? It sounds grown up. It sounds like something a financial advisor in a suit would nod at. It's also complete garbage, and here's why. That sentence has a trapdoor built into it. Because more money is a finish line that runs away from you. When you made $30,000, you swore you'd invest once you hit $50,000. Then you hit $50,000 and somehow you're more broke than before. Because now you've got a nicer apartment, a car payment, and a streaming subscription to a service you've watched twice. The number went up. The extra never showed up. It never does. There's a name for this. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's undefeated. Let me hit you with a stat that should sting. In 2025, only about 1 in 5 young adults actually invested in the stock market. 1 in 5. But when you ask young people if they believe the stock market is a good way to build wealth, around 2 out of 3 say yes. Listen to that again. Most people know it works. They're just waiting. Forever. For a magical day of enough that the math guarantees will never arrive. And here's the kicker that makes me want to scream into a pillow. When you survey people who are older and actually have money, around 80% of them say the same thing. I wish I'd started investing earlier. 80%. That is the most popular regret in all of money. Nobody's on their porch at 70 going, man, I really wish I'd waited longer to start. That guy does not exist. Now here's the part nobody told you, because the people who should have told you were also waiting for enough. You don't need a lot to start. You don't need $1,000. You don't need a finance degree or a guy named Chad with a yacht. Most apps now let you buy a slice of a stock for like $5. $5. That's a sad gas station sandwich. You can own a piece of the biggest companies on the planet for the price of a sandwich you'd forget eating. The reason I'll start when I have more feels safe is because it lets you agree that investing is smart while never actually doing the scary part. You get all the moral credit for the plan and none of the risk. It's the financial version of saying, I'll start the diet Monday. And Monday, my friend, is a stranger too. Monday is Gary's cousin. And look, if a 65-year-old stranger and the most expensive lie in finance is already more useful than the stuff you got in school, do future you a tiny favor and hit subscribe. That's it. That's the whole ask. We make money make sense around here without the suit, the jargon, or the guilt trip. Future Gary will literally thank you. Okay, back to it. So now you've met your future self and you know you can start with pocket change. Easy, right? Except a whole army of people clear those two hurdles and trip on the third one. And it's the one dressed up as being responsible. It's fear, but not the fear you think. Reason number 3. You think investing is just gambling. Look, I'm just going to be honest. Here's a sentence I hear constantly. I'm not investing. The stock market is basically a casino. And honestly, I get it. Because what most people see online isn't investing. It's chaos. It's some 19-year-old screaming about a meme coin that went to the moon, or a guy who turned $500 into $40,000 on a single stock and now sells a course about it. That stuff is gambling. You're right. You just pointed at the casino and assumed the whole building was on fire. So let me clear this up, because it's the difference between building wealth and losing your rent money. There's a huge difference between gambling and owning. Gambling is betting that a number goes up by Friday. It's picking one stock because some dude with sunglasses indoors told you to. It's crypto roulette. That's fast, it's loud, it's a slot machine, and the house usually wins. Owning is different. When you buy something boring like an index fund, and stay with me, index fund sounds scary, but it just means a big basket that holds a tiny piece of like 500 of the biggest companies at once. You're not betting. You're becoming a tiny owner of the actual economy. Every time someone buys a phone, fills up their tank, orders something online, streams a show, or grabs a coffee, a sliver of that flows back to people who own these companies. You're not guessing a number. You're collecting a toll on human activity itself. Check this out. It's wild. There's research showing that while the market itself earned around 10% a year, the average actual investor only pocketed somewhere around 3%. 3. They left most of the money on the table. Why? Because they bought when everyone was excited, freaked out, and sold when everyone was scared, and did it over and over. They turned an ownership stake into a casino with their own hands. The market didn't rob them. Their panic did. So the move is almost insultingly simple. Buy the boring basket, and then, this is the hard part, do nothing. Sit there, touch grass, let it cook. The people who win at this aren't smarter than you. They're just calmer than you. They treat the market like a bar of soap. The more you touch it, the smaller it gets. The casino and the index fund are in the same building, sure, but one is a slot machine and the other is owning the building. Stop confusing them. Now, by this point, some of you are nodding along, but there's a quiet little voice in your head going, yeah, but that's for smart people, people who get this stuff. And that voice is reason number 4. And it might be the sneakiest one of all, because it disguises itself as humility. Reason number 4, you think you're too dumb for it. Now pay attention, because a lot of people don't refuse to invest because they're scared of losing money. They refuse because they're scared of looking stupid. You open the app, you see words like ETF, expense ratio, Roth, dividend yield, diversification, and your brain just goes nope and slams the laptop. It feels like everyone else got a secret instruction manual at birth, and you were in the bathroom that day. So you decide investing is for those people, the spreadsheet guys, the finance bros, the kid in college who wore a tie to a party. Here's the truth, and it's going to make you a little mad. The finance industry wants it to sound complicated, Complicated is profitable. If it sounds like rocket science, you'll pay a professional 2% a year to do something you could have done yourself in an afternoon. The jargon isn't there to inform you. A lot of it is there to intimidate you out of the room so someone can charge you to walk back in. Because the actual core of long-term investing, it's so simple, it's almost a letdown. Buy a little bit of a broad basket of companies regularly, automatically, and don't sell when you're scared. That's it. That's the whole sermon. You could teach it to a smart 12-year-old in the time it takes to microwave a burrito. There are people running multi-million-dollar retirement accounts whose entire strategy fits on a sticky note. And hey, if I just took something that's been quietly intimidating you for years and made it make sense in 4 minutes, that's the whole point of this channel. We rip the scary mask off money stuff so you can actually use it. Hit subscribe so the next time your brain tries to tell you you're not a money person, you've got receipts. Cool, cool. Let's keep rolling because the next reason is the one nobody wants to admit out loud. Reason number 5, you'd rather feel rich now than be rich later. Let's be honest with each other for a second. Deep down, a lot of people don't invest because investing is invisible and spending is fun. When you buy something, you get a hit, a little firework in your brain. The new shoes, the DoorDash, the little treat because you survived a Tuesday. You can feel it, you can hold it, post it, taste it. But when you invest, nothing happens. No box arrives. No notification that makes you smile. The number just sits in an app you'll forget the password to. Your brain gets 0 fireworks. So of course, it picks the shoes. And the data on this is almost funny. Surveys found that well over half of young people buy themselves a little treat at least once a week. And a big chunk of those same people admit the little treats lead to overspending. The little treat is a slippery slope wearing a cute outfit. It's not the treats that get you. It's that "I deserve this" quietly becomes your entire financial plan. Here's the trap, and it's a good one, because society is rooting for it. Every ad, every influencer, every treat yourself caption is engineered to make you trade your future for a feeling right now. They are literally selling you the choice that keeps you broke and dressing it up as self-care. Looking rich and being rich are opposites way more often than people realize. The flashiest person you know is frequently the most financially terrified person you know. They just bought the costume on a payment plan. Now, I'm not here to tell you to never enjoy your life. That's miserable, and miserable plans don't last. Buy the coffee, take the trip. The point isn't to feel guilty about every dollar. The point is to flip the order. Pay future you first automatically before you ever see the money, and then spend the rest guilt-free. When investing happens on autopilot in the background, you get the wealth and the lattes. The trick was never stop living. It was stop letting today's you spend all of tomorrow's you's money. Okay, we've covered your brain, your excuses, your fear, your ego, and your wallet. But there's one final reason, and it's the biggest one, the boss level. The thing that quietly powers all the others. Because for most people, the real reason they refuse to invest isn't even inside them. It was handed to them. Reason number 6, nobody around you does it, and money is rude to talk about. Now, since you made it this far, here's the final boss. You invest like the people who raised you. Full stop. If you grew up in a house where money was a fight, where it ran out before the month did, where the plan was work hard, pay bills, and hope, then nobody ever sat you down and said, "Hey, here's how money makes more money while you sleep." Not because they didn't love you, because nobody told them either. You can't pass down a map you were never given. Whole families are running on the same broke instructions, generation after generation, not because they're dumb, but because the chain was never broken. And the data backs this up hard. When you ask young people where they learned about money, a massive chunk say their parents and family were the biggest influence. Which is beautiful when your family invests, and a quiet curse when they don't. You inherit their habits the same way you inherited their laugh. Most people aren't living out their own financial decisions. They're running their parents' software and calling it a personality. Then there's the second half of the trap. Money is taboo. We're taught it's rude to talk about. You'll tell your friends every detail of your dating life, your weird health stuff, your trauma, but ask, "Hey, how much do you have invested?" And suddenly, it's like you asked to see their browser history. So nobody talks, nobody compares notes, and because everyone's silent, everyone assumes everyone else has it figured out while secretly nobody does. The silence keeps the whole room broke together politely. So here's the move. You don't need your whole family to change. You don't need to give a TED talk at Thanksgiving. You just need to be the one weirdo who talks about it out loud, who makes it normal. Be the person who says, yeah, I throw a little into an index fund every month. It's not a big deal. Make it boring. Make it normal. Normal is contagious. You going first gives everyone around you permission to stop being scared. Because that's the exact reason, when you boil all 6 of these down, that people refuse to invest. It feels like something other people do. Smarter people, richer people, future people, other family people. And every single one of those is a lie. Your brain tells you to keep you comfortable and broke. So here's your one job after this video, not 10 steps. 1. Go open one of those free investing apps and put in anything, $5. Buy one slice of one boring index fund. Not because $5 changes your life. It doesn't. Because you change the second you go from someone who's thinking about it to someone who does it. That switch flips once and it flips forever. Be the weirdo. Break the chain. Mail the time machine to Gary. Drop a comment telling me which of these 6 reasons hit you the hardest. Be honest. Mine was number 5. The little treats got me for years. Future you is watching. Don't let Gary down. I'll see you in the next one.